Hi, today in this short discussion I'm going to discuss about prolongation cost. So as an example, I have selected a clause from FIDIC 99, which is subclause 1.9, delayed drawings or instructions. This is from FIDIC 99, and the clause says if the contractor suffers delay and or incurs cost as a result of a failure of the engineer to issue the notified drawings or instruction within a time which is reasonable and is specified in the notice with supporting details, the contractor shall be entitled, subject to subclause 20.2, to EOT and or payment of such cost plus profit. So then it says, the clause says cost plus profit. Now let's see the definition of cost. Subclause 1.1.19 says cost means all expenditure reasonably incurred or to be incurred by the contractor in performing the contract, whether on or off the site, including taxes, overheads and similar charges, but does not include profit. So the cost means expenditure reasonably incurred, does not include profit. That's why the clause says cost plus profit. Okay. Now the cost says reasonably incurred, and therefore we cannot say that the evaluation of prolongation cost has to be based on BOQ rates, because it says the cost actually incurred during the delay event happened. Then the second point is the EOT claim has always submitted by the contractor. Burden of proof lies with the claimant. Therefore, contractor is the person who has to prove his claim. And also we have to make sure that there is no disruption cost in the submission, because disruption does not affect the critical path of the project. Therefore, if there is a disruption, then that will not extend the project, and therefore disruption does not prolong the project. That means there is no prolongation cost associated with it. If we take a project which has an year duration, so the project starts with month 0 and ends with month 12. Suppose there is a delay event happen in between month 2 and 3, then the project would extend by another 1 month, and the new completion date is month 13. So this delay event, we can take the delay as compensable or excusable or disruption, or mix of all these three. Compensable delay is the delay that occurs and also contractor is entitled for the compensation. And excusable delay is a delay event which contractor is entitled to get time extension but not the cost. There was a clause in FIDIC 4th edition, if you all remember, clause 44 has adverse climatic conditions which contractor is entitled for extension of time but not the cost. Disruption, as we already discussed, it does not extend the project, then therefore no prolongation cost associated with it. Once the EOT is submitted, the planner will evaluate the EOT submission and check what is the EOT. In this case, suppose EOT is 30 days and this whole 30 days may not be compensable. There may be excusable delays within these 30 days. So the planner will separate and filter out all the compensable delay, and we have to give the prolongation cost for the compensable delays. And the planning team or planner will do this through delay analysis methods. In this case, if we take all 30 days as compensable, the prolongation cost will be calculated for this 30 days. Now if we take the project S curve, which is a cash flow, which is the plotted cost against time, which has a S shape. This shape is similar to the preliminaries. If we plot the preliminary cost against time, it will also show similar curve to the S curve. So if we consider the delay event happen in between second month and third month, this curve will shift like this into new SCD completion date 13th month. In preliminaries, we have two types of costs: fixed costs and time related costs. We have to consider in prolongation evaluation only the time related items cost, because if the delay event happen in the second month, then from that time until the delay event complete, contractor has to continue some cost of preliminaries, not the whole cost of preliminaries. That means some things like staff cost. He has to keep the staff as minimum to continue the project, but he could not progress on site. Then if we take the normal distribution of that cash flow, it takes a shape of bell. And if we take the preliminaries, time related preliminaries, it also takes the same shape. And if we take the delay event happen in second and third month, in between second and third month, this bell shape will shift like this to 13th month. Now let's see why we cannot take the preliminaries into prolongation assessment. Preliminary prices are entered by contractor when he get the BOQ to price in the tender. At that time, he has considered many of the factors and risk items into the price. And also, when the delay event happen, he has a duty to mitigate it. And he may not have continued with this with his resources as previously planned. Therefore, the cost of preliminaries that he actually had may be lesser than what he has planned, and it will not be accurate if we take the preliminaries from the BOQ. And one common method is averaging the preliminary cost by dividing the project duration. Averaging whole preliminary cost is not correct because it has some fixed cost elements, as we discussed earlier in that. Therefore, averaging preliminary cost by dividing project duration is not correct. And also, even if we take out the time related cost and divide it by number of months, still it's not correct because preliminaries will not show the correct actual cost incurred by the contractor at the time of delay event. We discussed that we will consider as EOT 30 days, and EOT evaluation shows the completion date as the 13th month. We can see the EOT evaluation with both these items. When we get the EOT evaluation like this, many people misunderstand with this evaluation because they think that the completion date is 13th with an EOT of 30 number of days, which is exactly similar to this difference of previous completion date and the new completion date, which is 30 days. So people think that this 30 days is between the previous completion date and the new completion date. But these 30 days actually represent this second and third month, between second and third month number of days. Therefore, EOT evaluations has always two different things. One is the number of days that delay occurred and the new date of completion for the project. Even though the delay event started at second month, then the contractor's preliminaries that he has planned is here, and the value we can say as X. But the contractor has a duty to mitigate the delay, and also he may have his own other projects that he can deploy some of his resources, so he can minimize his expenses on the preliminaries. Therefore, the cost of actual preliminaries may not always X as planned. It could be lesser than that. And therefore, it is vital to have the actual records of his preliminaries cost. The contractor has to submit a proper substantiation, which is contemporary record for his delay event, to substantiate his claim. And if we take 30 days into this cost X, That's why that would not be accurate, because the actual cost may not be same as X. So the correct method will be 30 days into actual cost. If someone consider this 30 days between completion date 1 and the new completion date, still what he is getting is the last part of the project actual records, which is very lesser than the second month and third month's preliminary cost, because at the end of the project contractor may have demobilized his most of the resources. If we take the suppose the actual cost of preliminaries at this point is this much, and if someone gets the actual record of contractors preliminaries at the last month of the project, suppose it's exactly an average here, so it will be this portion. So it is not fair to the contractor, as the cost is very less. Therefore, the correct way of calculating prolongation cost is number of compensable delay into actual cost. Actual cost calculation is not easy, but remember, the burden of proof lies with the contractor.